Welcome back. In this module, we're going to be talking about branding, something that is near and dear to my heart. I have several years' experience running a design and marketing business and had the great honor of executing NTA's rebrand in 2017. When we talk about branding, most people think about their logo or maybe the colors they use on their business cards. And that's fine, that is part of branding. But really, it's so much more than that. Branding is who you are. It's what you want to convey about yourself and your business, all rolled into one first impression. A combination of lines, colors, fonts, mood, form, and more. Branding is an essential tool in your marketing toolkit and forms an integral part of your overall marketing message. It's ultimately a unifying factor. These are all key components surrounding this module's big idea. Your brand is a reflection of who you are and the message you want to convey. One of the reasons I love branding and marketing as a whole is that it is, in essence, a form of communication. Every form of your marketing, your branding included, is simply a way to communicate a message to the kind of client you want to attract. Let's take a look at a couple of common brands as examples. All right, so let's take a look at Toys R Us here. Who is their predetermined audience? Kids. What is this font and what do these colors communicate? Fun, youth, playfulness, vibrancy, joy. These are all things that their audience, being kids, will be interested in. All right, now let's take a look at Victoria's Secret. How about this? Their branding communicates luxury, sensuality, femininity. It communicates to women who want to feel this way about themselves. What if Toys R Us had a brand that looked like this? That would not communicate who they really are as a company. And while it might inspire interest for kids looking for a Halloween costume, it really doesn't represent who that company is. Or if Victoria's Secret had a brand that looked like this. This definitely doesn't communicate sensuality or femininity, does it? So their desired audience, who we can name as women wanting to feel sensual and feminine, would probably not be interested in or want to engage with this brand. And by the way, branding isn't just for business either. You, as a person, can develop your own personal brand based on the style of clothing you wear, the way you speak, and the manner in which you present yourself. Each of these components creates a message you're communicating to the world on a daily basis and influences the kind of people and opportunities that you attract. In addition, as a nutrition professional, you are largely your brand as well. So your branding doesn't just stop at the design of your business cards. It should extend to every touch point you and your business have with your potential and current clients. Branding comprises the first of three essentials which are present in all marketing. These essentials are, first, you, which really means your brand. Second, your message, what you're trying to communicate. And third, your ideal client. It's crucial that we achieve abundant clarity on each of these three components in order to have seamless and effective marketing. This is done through reverse engineering. By knowing whom your ideal client is, you'll then be able to craft a more pertinent, effective message. Let's say that your ideal client is a sedentary, middle-aged woman struggling with the symptoms of Hashimoto's. So what do you think her reaction would be to this message for a nutrition workshop? Increase your athletic performance and improve your recovery time. Learn how to gain muscle mass. Improve your virility and stamina. Well, she would let that marketing message roll right on by, as this communication was obviously not intended for her. But to an athletic man who wants to up his game, this would be exactly what he's looking for. Similarly, the branding would be different for these two target markets. Your message, your tone of voice in your marketing, the look and the feel of your brand, all of these things will depend on who it is that you're talking to. So remember, it comes down to you, which includes your brand and your branding, the look, feel, colors, fonts, everything you choose to convey who you are. Your message, which includes what you say in your marketing materials, your social media posts, the content you present at lectures and workshops. And lastly, your ideal client, who you're communicating to. There's another point to consider in how you'll be branding yourself, which, of course, is you. the values you uphold, what you want your business to stand for, the qualities that make you uniquely you. It is vital to consider these things when developing your brand as well. Here's a process for how you can start thinking about how to craft your branding. First, let's take a look at you. Going back to your vision and your story from the first module, take a look at why are you doing this work? With that in mind, ask yourself the following questions. What are the primary values that you would like your brand to stand for? Here are the value statements from a few prominent brands to start giving you some examples and some ideas. Zappos. Deliver wow through service, embrace and drive change, create fun and a little weirdness, be adventurous, creative, and open-minded, pursue growth and learning, build open and honest relationships with communication, build a positive team and a family spirit, do more with less, be passionate and determined, and be humble. All right, so here's the value statement for Ben & Jerry's ice cream. We strive to minimize our negative impact on the environment. We strive to show a deep respect for human beings inside and outside our company and for the communities in which they live. We seek and support nonviolent ways to achieve peace and justice. We believe government resources are more productively used in meeting human needs than in building and maintaining weapon systems. We strive to create economic opportunities for those who've been denied them and to advance new models of economic justice that are sustainable and replicable. We support sustainable and safe methods of food production that reduce environmental degradation, maintain the productivity of land over time, and support the economic viability of family farms and rural communities. Here's the value statements from Starbucks Coffee. Creating a culture of warmth and belonging where everyone is welcome. Acting with courage, challenging the status quo, and finding new ways to grow our company and each other. Being present, connecting with transparency, dignity, and respect. Delivering our very best in all we do, holding ourselves accountable for results. And lastly, we have the Honest Company. Create a culture of honesty, make beauty, outperform, service matters, sustain life, be accessible, pay it forward, and fun. As you can see, there's more than one way to define your brand, who you are, and what values you support. Here's another approach. What adjectives do you feel represent your brand's personality? Is your brand warm, loving, friendly, educational, and personable? Or are you witty, energetic, bright, fun, accessible, and playful? Or perhaps you're more corporate, traditional, authoritative, and established? Or do you resonate with being classic, upscale, exclusive, luxurious, modern? You should also explore your chosen descriptives and evaluate how well they'll speak to your ideal client. So, given the challenges that they're facing at this time, which of the adjectives that you may have thought of or listed above would most resonate with your ideal client? How would you like your ideal client to perceive your brand? From the above, summarize what adjectives you would like to reflect in your branding. All of these questions and adjectives and values can help lead you to an accurate description of you and what you want to convey. Obviously, there are endless ways to arrive at this description. The point is to keep exploring until you get it right to your own satisfaction. Now, with all of the above in mind, we're going to go through a series of colors and explain the connotations of each. Green, growth, safety, freshness, stability, abundance, restoration. In blue, we have trust, peace, intelligence, loyalty, tranquility, expertise, stability, and focus. For red, we have energy, strength, power, assertiveness, drive, passion, motivation. In orange, we have excitement, health, stimulation, enthusiasm, positivity, attraction, creativity. In yellow, we have cheerfulness, vibrancy, joy, intellect, energy, optimism, and confidence. In purple, we have luxury, dignity, power, independence, mystery, ambition, spirituality, authenticity. In brown, we have simplicity, support, dependability, warmth, loyalty, sincerity, honesty, wholesomeness. In pink, we have femininity, love, nurturance, kindness, empathy, intuition, sensitivity, and hopefulness. And lastly, in black, we have elegance, strength, control, authority, sophistication, confidence, and luxury. Now, obviously, there are a lot of different shades and variations among each of these and all other colors. And when you get into combinations of colors, you're really starting to create in terms of meanings, moods, and style. But hopefully, this is beginning to spur some ideas for you and helping you to understand how your branding truly does serve as a communication. And just like colors have their own connotations, so do fonts. Let's take a look at this logo, and then again in a different font. You can see how simply changing the font produces a dramatically different effect. Now let's take a look at another logo, and again in a different font. Would you buy an $80,000 car from this company? In truth, every font really has its own personality. Let's take a look at Mr. Brandon Grotesque. He feels modern, intelligent. I'd expect to find him sitting outside a trendy coffee shop, sipping on a latte and reading something slightly esoteric, especially when we space out his letters a bit, like this. What about Garamond? She feels classy and elegant, graceful. She probably uses really beautiful dish towels in her kitchen, and I wouldn't be surprised if she spoke a little French. Okay, how about Bookman? To me, he's the quintessential 70s font. I'd expect him to be rocking out to some old school Elton John in his Birkenstocks. Okay, last one. How does she seem to you? To me, she feels fashionable, assertive, confident, intelligent. I'd expect that she'd keep herself apprised of the latest runway trends and be on top of her investment portfolio. Okay, so these are obviously my own thoughts and interpretations, but I'd invite you to explore this concept for yourself. And when you're choosing your fonts, keep in mind the personality of your brand and look for something that you feel captures that personality. If you'd like to dig into this concept deeper, I'd encourage you to browse some websites, see what fonts resonate with you and which might resonate with your audience. There are a few different tools that you can use to actually see which fonts are being used on a website. The one I use is called Fount, which works best on the Chrome browser, by the way. But you can also just search Font Identifier and you'll see a list of tools available. All right, so stepping back from the specifics of colors and fonts, there are two key concepts that I'd like to cover about design as a whole. Keep it simple and keep it consistent. When in doubt, keep it simple. Less is more. Think of your favorite logos and designs, from your favorite brands to the brands which have established a global presence. They all keep it simple. I love this quote. Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. When I first entered the world of branding and design, the phrase I would often repeat to myself when I was in the thick of the design process was, just because you can doesn't mean you should, which I found to be a very helpful compass. Keep it simple and keep it consistent. Consistency is key for creating a strong, cohesive, memorable brand. If you decide to anchor your brand's color palette with an earthy color, like a warm forest green and a light cream, I would not recommend using neon green for your business cards or social media posts. Likewise, you would want to make sure that the font and any logo image you choose also integrates with the colors, and vice versa. Make sure all of the elements work together cohesively to forward your message. Once you choose your colors, fonts, and any imagery, you want to repeat them with each and every marketing property you create. Think of it as a way to reiterate the communication you're trying to put forward to your target audience. Make it easy for them to understand who you are by keeping your visual message consistent. Now, I certainly do not expect for each of you to become professional graphic designers, and I would encourage you to hire someone for the majority of your design work if it's an area that you're not comfortable with. But by understanding some of these basic principles, you can ensure that, outsourced or not, your branding is helping your business rather than hurting it. Plus, when you do hire someone to do your design work, the clearer your vision is at the outset, the more likely you will love what your designer creates. And the easier the process will be for both of you. All right, so now let's talk about some of the actual marketing properties that you can use in your business. I want to preface these by saying that in the handouts for this module, you're going to be finding a list of some of my favorite resources that you can use for creating beautiful marketing materials, as well as for hiring someone else to create them. So don't feel like you need to go it alone. All right, so first we have your logo. While it can be fun to incorporate images and icons into logos, when in doubt, just go with a simple text-based logo. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Find a font that resonates with the adjectives you use to describe your business, or have a graphic designer find one for you, and simply write out your business's name using that font. The purpose here is consistency. Next, we have business cards. While you're certainly able to design your own cards if you'd like, I do not recommend printing your own cards on your home printer. The good news is you can find some really solid business card design templates online from places that will also print your cards for you. And I'll be including my top recommendations for those in your resource documents for this module. Moving on to the more advanced marketing properties, we have your website, newsletters, and any brochures or flyers you might want. Let's start with your website. Now, websites and web design could be a whole module in itself, and it actually is. It's our next module. But I'd like to say two things about it here. First, you don't actually need a website to start getting clients. Yes, I do highly recommend having a site eventually, but when you're first getting started, if you're a little bit nervous about getting out there and procuring clients, it can be easy to procrastinate by focusing on having everything completely perfect with each of your marketing materials, including your website. This I would warn against and would encourage you to prioritize some of the other marketing actions that we'll be covering in future modules that are more key than a website as drivers for bringing you clients right away. Second, there are tons of great do-it-yourself options out there these days that allow you to create a site for a relatively small investment. And if you do decide to hire someone, it's not necessary to spend exorbitant amounts of money. Paying 5 figures for a website is not uncommon in the world of web design, but likely quite unnecessary for your purposes. Next, we have email newsletters. I am a huge proponent of utilizing email newsletters as part of your marketing strategy, which we'll be digging into more in Module 10. These days, it's generally not necessary to hire a designer to create your email newsletter layout, as most email service providers have tons of really beautifully designed templates already created for you. Lastly, we have brochures, postcards, and flyers. I'd recommend creating these marketing properties on an as-needed basis when you want to highlight a certain promotion that you're running or specific events that you might be attending where you want to be passing these materials out. Keep in mind that especially when you're first starting out, it's very likely that you're going to be tweaking and honing your marketing message and the description of your services. So I'd recommend keeping your printed marketing materials relatively lean in the beginning and only creating them on an ongoing, as-needed basis. The final piece of the puzzle for integrating your brand into your business is the look and feel of your eventual office. When you're ready to set up your office, aim to keep the look and feel consistent with the guidelines you've laid out for your branding. In addition, spend some time creating a mood board of the elements you'd like to bring into your office environment to help you find designs and physical objects that will help reflect your brand in the flesh. Look online, in magazines, and on places like Pinterest to find ways to capture how you would like your office to feel for your clients. When in doubt, keep things simple, clean, and minimal. All right, let's recap what we've covered in today's module. We talked about how your branding ties into your overall marketing message and how it's a form of communication in and of itself. We discussed how colors and fonts play a critical role in contributing to that communication. We broke down the strategy for how you can create your own set of branding guidelines. And we talked about the common marketing materials you'll be using for your business. Again, even if you aren't planning on going into business for yourself, you can still apply these concepts by cultivating the look, feel, and message that you want to be putting out into the world. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.